Now we're finally getting down to the bones of this system to know exactly what's wrong. I kind of knew this from the beginning, but I said I would do everything just in case, so you can follow the steps yourself. This is the part now where, fingers crossed now, I'm not saying this is going to work. If you're getting a lot of blue smoke and missing and stuff like that, then this necessarily won't work for you. I know these injectors are blocked from the leak test, but I also know that the electronic side of things is working. If the electronic side of the injectors aren't working, this isn't going to work for you. But if you've got basically what this problem is, this should work for you, and this can save you absolutely thousands, stupid money. Now, what I'm going to show you is how to take the injectors off and basically clean them. Again, there's a couple of different things. Technically speaking, the best thing to do is take down the tank as well, because if you've got the idling firing problems, it could be back in the tank, and you don't want to clean everything and send it all back. And technically you want to clean out the pump, but to take off the pump is a big job. So I'm just going to basically clean the injectors. As you can see from the other video, I put an extra filter on the line, and hopefully that will help. Even if I have to come back a few months later and clean them again, I'm going to do that rather than take off the pump and do all that, because that is a big job. If we have to, we will, but hopefully we won't. So basically, today it's going to be, I'm just going to show you how to obviously do one, take off one injector. No point me showing you everything. I will be cleaning all 4 injectors, but once you know how to take one injector out, well then you know how to take the others out, and I'll show you how to clean that injector and then basically repeat it 4 times. Simple, really. Let's crack on. One thing you also want to do is, what we're going to do is, want to clean as much as we can. So we're going to take off even the common rail injector part here, and we're going to clean that. We're going to clean the pipes. One thing I will say is only take 1 injector out at a time, and only take 1 pipe out at a time. If you take all 4 out and you mismatch bits or don't know which one's which, you're going to have serious problems. So I'm just going to take out 1 injector, 1 pipe, and I'm going to clean that, and I'm going to do it basically, take out the next injector and blah, and go all the way across until we've obviously got all 4 injectors off. Now, the first thing we need to do is to take off the actual electronic plug and the actual bleed off, or the return pipe, should I say, the return pipe and the electronics, so we can actually see what we're doing. First thing I'm going to do actually is take off the actual pipe connecting everything. So it's a 17mm spanner, and just loosen that, and loosen the other end. Now that's obviously simple enough, and I'm going to clean all this, but it's just a good sign. I mean, to be honest, there may be nothing going to be in there, but for the sake of it, I'm going to shove it in the cleaner as well. There's no harm, you have to take it off anyway. Now, the next thing is the little clip, the back, you just pull it to one side, and literally, as you can see, that just slides off. Really easy. Need that to one side, sure it doesn't get in the way. I'm just going to go and get in the way now. Just leave that there like that, be careful. Now push in the 2 little clips either end, and this, as you can see, just pops off. So simple. And now we're basically left with just the injector and the injector seal. So we're going to whip off this injector seal next. Now you have to be careful with these injector seals. I'm going to replace them because they're not particularly that expensive. Flat blade screwdriver, there's a piece of metal on either side of them, and just very gently lift them up. And then, as we can see, that's basically the injector seal. I'm going to replace them, but I mean, it's not leaking, so you don't really have to, but for the sake of it, once I'm doing all this, might as well go that extra little bit to do everything. Now we can literally see the injector. So now we take the injector up. Now there is a special special tool for it. It's 21mm, and I've obviously got a cutout here, and I'll show you why the cutout is for later on. But it's just basically a socket, special socket for the injectors. It just slides over. You can use like deep sockets, but you have to be careful. They have to be really deep, otherwise you can damage the injectors. You can buy these online, not very expensive. personally I would buy the proper one, because then you're not going to do any damage to anything else, and it makes your life so much easier, believe. Now, a bit tight, but nothing too bad. One injector. As you can see, it is as simple as that. Lovely, lovely injector, as you can see. It doesn't particularly look too bad, but I'm guessing all inside there is blocked. Well, I'm hoping so anyway. That's what I'm hoping. It better be. Now, I just basically give it a quick wipe. A good tip is to take the number off the injector now, so you always have for future reference in case you need one, because you have to match numbers up. But basically what we need to do now is we just need to undo this part, because this is the part we need to clean. So I believe it's a 15mm, I believe. Yeah, so it's a 15mm. All I'm going to basically do is put this end in the vise, put my spanner on the top and loosen that. Once I crack this, I'll turn the camera back on and we'll show you what's inside them. Now, I'm not saying this will work for you, and this might not work for this car, but after that you really started new injectors and new this, and that's when it starts getting ridiculous. So this is worth a try, however you look at it. I've basically put the spanner on this, so I've loosened it in the vise, and now I should be able to, I'd say, turn it off by hand. Now, these are the parts we need to clean, so you have to be careful because there's a spring here. Okay, now just leave that down for a second. You got a little spring, and inside here you have little valves and stuff. Now we won't worry about basically all the names for stuff and everything, because there's no real point. It can get very confusing. Another little spring there. Now, to be fair, this one I was hoping to be a bit worse than what it is. I was hoping, see, this little fella here is supposed to spin by hand. As you can see, this one is spinning really nice and freely. I was hoping it wouldn't, to be honest. I was hoping it'd be all stuff and completely froze, but it isn't. This is a little pin again. To be fair, I was just hoping for a bit more crap. So this, unfortunately, might not work on this injector. Now, we need to separate this little ring from here, because we still could be blocked. I'm sorry, we still could be blocked at this end. But what I'm going to do is, because that's not completely free at the minute, I might just shove all this in the cleaner first and then do a bit more stripping once once it's been through the cleaner once. What we do need to do is we do need to get this little fella up and out. Let's just see if it pops out. It should pop out. Now it's not popping out. Oh, it is. Right, that should come out really easy, and it's not. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Just going to push it through. Yeah, it's coming out. So again, I mean, there's all little tiny jets and all sorts of stuff in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bang the bottom ends. We're going to leave the top end for the minute. Bang all this in the cleaner. Let it do its magic. Then I'm going to strip this a little bit more, and again put it back. And yeah, let's hope for the best. But I was hoping to see it a bit more manky inside, to be honest. So don't know yet, to be honest. No, I just have a look at the injector in a little bit more detail, just so people know that the problem is there's so many different names for these things. You don't really need to get bogged down in names. The most important thing is this is basically your nozzle or your jet. I think there's 4 to 5 holes. I think there's 5 holes in this particular one. I can't remember, 4 or 5 holes, and obviously that's where the diesel comes out. This is your pin that goes in between, and that's basically works on pressure. That's all you really need to know. And obviously you have springs, you have these little jet drivers as well. There's a few different names for these. Some people call them valves and all sorts of different names, but you don't really need to know, to be honest. As long as you can physically see nothing is cracked or damaged, you should be okay. You can have a visual look just to make sure there's no hairline cracks on it. There's nothing that seems bad. Everything seems good, obviously apart from being blocked. This does look fairly blocked. It looks fairly blocked, but it's very difficult to see with your naked eye. So we're just going to basically shove this in the cleaner, this part. So we're going to leave the main body part away for the minute. I still need to separate all this, but there's just a bit of gun, so I can't. So I'm going to bang this in the cleaner, and then I'll separate this and I'll put it back in the cleaner. Basically what I'm going to do with my cleaner is I've got this little tea strainer, and all the little bits I'm just going to literally shove in here. As we can see, all the little springs. And it's just my cleaner. The actual basket is too big for these. The holes in the basket is too big, so I'm going to use these, and then I can just dump that in beside it and get this clean first. Also, I'm going to just shove in the injector rail as well. Don't really need to, but I might as well. It's off, and I'm going to do that first. So let's get it in the cleaner. One thing I do want to say is, though, I'm not saying this is going to work on everyone's injectors. There's maybe an 80–85% chance this will work. It's a better chance that it'll work than it doesn't work, but it's still not guaranteed. So don't be kind of thinking this is going to solve all your problems and you don't have to buy injectors. It doesn't work in every car, works on a lot of them though. So bear that in mind. Like I said, it's you have to buy the cleaner if you want to do it yourself, which can be quite expensive depending on which model you get, but I'll show you that. But apart from that, really, there's not really a lot of expense as such unless you start having to replace these fellas. At least this way, once we clean it, we don't have to code these injectors in, because they're already coded into the car. So and this particular car that I'm working on will not even start with the key. It just takes forever. So if we can get this car even starting, we know we're on the right track. It won't start when it's hot or it's cold. It was very difficult to start. So if we can get this car starting, well, we're halfway there, and then I'll have to test it for a few days just to make sure it's okay, and we'll see. So I forgot to mention what the actual cleaner was. I was just doing a video, so and I realized I didn't actually say. It's an ultrasonic cleaner. There's so many different ones you can buy. You can buy small ones, very little money, or you can get obviously slightly bigger ones. Depends really what you want to spend, but they're very, very cheap. So it's an ultrasonic cleaner, and the stuff I use is C-Clean 2. That's the actual cleaner that I use. You mix it with warm water, and yeah, so that's basically what it is. So let's carry on with the video. Well, YouTubers, as you can see, it's now in my cleaner. Basically, I've just shoved everything in with all the right amounts of cleaning product and also the right heat, which is at 50 degrees. So I'm going to turn it on for 5 minutes. As you can see, instantly, all the crap that's coming out. Now, so we know it's doing something, so I'm literally going to leave it in there for 5 minutes. And I'll turn the camera back on. Now it's been in there for 5 minutes, and as you can see, I've been able to take this washer off, which has allowed this part to slide through. So I'll just basically, the washer holds that on. Once the washer comes off, that slides out. Then we'll put it back in the cleaner. I'm going to put it back in the cleaner, and then we should be sorted. So basically, this is our injector apart. The way I'm going to do it is put the needle back through the tip. So just push it all the way down. Get the one with the biggest hole in, because that's where the spring goes. As you can see, the spring just literally slots straight in. Can only go one way, it only fits one way, so line that back up on there, push it tight and hold it. Same again with this end. I've put the little I put the little valve back inside. As we can see, this needs to spin nice and freely, and it does. That's what you're looking for. So then I'm going to put that on here again, and same thing again, it can only go on one way, so don't worry about it. I have put the little spring back through the top of the actual top of the injector, and now what I'm going to do is slide all this down and try not do what I did there by separating them. So this is a bit tricky to do on camera. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. Doing it on camera is just 10 times harder for some reason. Now it can only go on one way. So lift it up and let this slide down. Now, sorted. Now, you have to be careful here. So I just lifted up a slight bit. Again, can only go on one way. This is coming through, and just line these up. Now, it's now lined up, and I now can literally very gently screw the tip back in. As you can see, I'm just screwing the tip back in. Now, I'm just going to basically now, there we go, push that in. I'm going to tighten this with a 15mm again in the vice grips, put the head on there very carefully, tighten up, and that's it. Injector done. Nice and clean. Put in, we'll put back in the car and test it and hope for the best. Sorted. Hopefully that came through okay. It's just very difficult to do it on camera and do it, but if you're doing it yourself, it'll make a lot more sense. Now, again, watching the video back, made another mistake. It's difficult to kind of look through the camera and film at the same time, but basically, when I put the little valve back, the little piece that spins round, I've turned it the wrong way. What you need to do is that needs to go towards the actual main part of the injector, the top part of the injector, that valve has to face towards. So basically just flip it around to what you see me just do and you'll be fine. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is on the little washer, on one side there's like a little step. You can just see it there. On the other side it's flat. We need the step side to the inside of the injector. So basically the step side to the inside. And all I do now is I get a little long reach socket, I just put it on there and gently tap it just to seat that washer in place. Obviously I'm going to wash all the 4 injectors now. And once I've done all that, we'll go back to it and see if it's made any difference whatsoever. Now, as you can see, we're now back to basically sticking on the injector we cleaned. Obviously what I have done is I have cleaned the other 3 injectors. I've also cleaned all the pipes and I've cleaned the common rail as well. So I've cleaned everything. I've also put a genuine Delphi filter in. It's important to put a genuine filter in. And I've also replaced the secondary filter that I put in, you saw on the other videos. Now, so we're going to put this in, we're going to bleed it and then see if it starts. Now, like I said, I'm not saying this will work with your car. It's not a miracle cure. If your injectors are gone, if the electronics are gone, well then they're gone. Simple as this is not going to do it. This will just basically do it if they're blocked. And as you can see from the other videos, mine were badly blocked. So, basically we're going to shove this in, show you how to put it in. And I'm going to bleed it and start it. Like I said, this never started. So even if this just starts with the key, well then it's done something. We won't know until you basically get into it. Fingers crossed. It's going to do it. So the first thing we need to do is shove the injector back. It's very simple. Be careful, put it straight down. Kind of seat itself. Then you need a special 21mm socket with the cutout and just screw it in by hand. Now, it's 50 newtons we need to tighten this to, but before we do that, we obviously need to make sure it's lined up. As you can see, obviously, at the minute, it's not lined up, so the pipes won't clip into it, so I need to line it up. And basically, the top of the injector, there's a cutout for this tool to go in, and it slots on the other injector, just like that. But obviously, before I do that, sorry, I've got to put this down and then put this on. And now you can see why we have that slot on the actual socket. So what I need to do is tighten it 50 newtons. Keep that in there, this can be a bit fiddly. Basically we're looking for 50 newtons. Now we heard that click. That's 50 newtons. As we can see, the injector is nice and straight, so all these pipes will basically fit on. Now, as you can see, I've got four new injector seals, and they just basically push in. So simple. That stops the oil from coming out. They're very cheap, so I would suggest if you're doing this, you might as well change them because they're not really that hard to do. Push the electronics in for the injector, simply like that. Now just put the overflow pipes back on. These can be a bit fiddly. In the way of everything like they're doing now. Now make sure they're clipped in. Push it down and around. And make sure it's clipped in. Now, where is this? Now, YouTubers, we are ready. Moment of truth. Has this worked? Do we need new injectors? Has this saved thousands? Or has it made no difference at all? We're going to bleed this. I've already done a video on how to bleed these, so we're going to bleed it. Then just before it starts, well, if it starts, turn the camera back on and let's see what happens. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this to this video and we'll see what happens in the next part. Did it work? Is it better? Is it worse? Well, watch the next part, we'll find out. Don't forget, hope it helps. Thumbs up the video and subscribe. Don't forget to get your hands dirty. See you for the next one.